Hi folks, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be using some of the basic tools in Silhouette Studio to design this shape. It was a comment on a Facebook group, so I thought I'd make a video showing exactly how to design this exact image, but you can use these same tools to design whatever image you would like. So we're going to use the shape tool, the text tool, the weld tool, and the subtract tool in order to build this entirely within Silhouette Studio. So the first thing you want to do is create your text. So I'm going to click on the left side text icon and then click anywhere on my screen to start creating. So I'm going to type in "but you sure have" to create my text. Now I know I want this all on one line, so with the text box still selected, or if you've accidentally unselected it, double click back on your text to re-edit it, and just drag this blue line over until all of your text is on one line. Then we're going to select everything, and over on the right hand panel we've got this other A icon, so this is to edit your text, and I'm going to pick a different font. The font I'm going to choose is Avocado Sans Bold. I just kind of like the way it looks, but I think it needs to be a little bit more spaced out, so I'm going to put an extra space bar in between each word to give it a little bit more space, and I'm also going to highlight everything and just increase the character spacing so there's a few more gaps between each of the letters. I just think it looks a bit nicer. Again, you just design your text however you want it to look. Once you're happy with your text, we're going to ungroup it. And this is because if you look at this text box, it goes a bit further wide than the text ends, and it's a bit taller than the text actually is. So if we want to get an accurate measurements of our text, you want to make sure you ungroup it, or you can weld it. Either way, they'll do the same thing when your text is not overlapping. So now we've got all separate letters, we're going to group them back together. So now we know that the exact measurements of this text area, and it'll be really easy to center it later on. So now that we've got our text, I'm going to click and drag to make it a bit smaller, and we're going to start building our banner. Now we're going to go over to the shapes panel over on the left, and we're going to select this shape here. Once you selected it, you click and drag basically horizontally. It kind of snaps to horizontal, so you don't have to be super precise about it, but you can also snap vertically or any angle in between. So I'm just going to build it horizontally. You'll notice this is not the exact shape we want. We want to have it sort of inverted on both ends, whereas this is a pointy triangle on one end. So we're going to fix that in a second, but the first thing we're going to do is line it up roughly with our text, and we're going to make it taller by clicking and dragging on the red points. You can make it really pointy or almost flat, anything you sort of like. So we're going to do it about like this. We're going to drag it up over our text so we can see how much room we have. A bit taller. So that's about where we want it. We can position it correctly in a second. You'll notice that I've made this only about 3/4 of the length of the text, and that's quite deliberate. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my replicate panel, which is this sort of 6-pointed star looking thing, and I'm going to duplicate to the right. This has created a second copy of this shape exactly in line with the first copy. So now holding the shift key down, I'm going to hold the left arrow down and, oops, too far. So just holding the shift key down and tap it over with my left and right arrows until it's roughly in the place that I want it. And then I'm going to use this rotation tool, which is the little green dot, and rotate while holding the shift key down so that it snaps into place. Now that I've got a sort of inverted triangle on both sides, this is still two shapes though. So I'm going to select both, and I'm going to right click and weld. And that's going to join my two shapes together into one banner shape. The next thing I'm going to do is select the banner and my words, and I'm going to center them. So using the transform tool under the align option, I'm going to center left and center right. Center left and right. Center horizontally and center vertically. So now my text is perfectly centered within my banner. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create these two little like cutouts from the banner. So I'm going to use my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle roughly in the place that I want it, and I'm going to overlap both the edges of the banner. And then I'm going to use the duplicate tool again and duplicate down. Now I want to make sure that these are perfectly centered, or the same distance from the top as the bottom. So what I'm going to do is hold the shift key and arrow down to move my shape within the same line. Then I'm going to group my two shapes together, and then I'm going to center them with my text. So now we know that these two lines are perfectly centered with the text and the banner. I'm going to select both the rectangles and the banner, and then I'm going to go over to my modify panel and subtract them. So this is going to subtract the top rectangles from the bottom banner. So once we click subtract, now we've got 3 lines instead of just a single banner. And if I fill my text in with black, and I fill my banner in with red, you can see that the banner, because I created it after the text, has gone on top. So I'm just going to go up here and click send to back. So that's sent it to the back of my design. And just for ease of use, I'm going to group it together. So let me move this one out of the way. So if I was going to cut this out of vinyl, I could just send it to my silhouette now and set it to cut. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So this would be an 18 centimeter banner. I'm going to go to my send panel, and I'm going to select my banner and my words and click cut. And that means it's going to cut around the outside of each of these portions and around each letter. So if I was going to cut this out of red vinyl, I would cut it just like this, and then I would just weed away the black parts of the letters, leaving the red banner behind, and I could layer that directly onto a black t-shirt or a black surface. Otherwise, to create a black rectangle around your banner, you can just use the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle, fill it in with black, send it to the back so that you can see your design, and then select oopsies, just delete that. Select everything, align center, align vertical and horizontal. So now you've got your banner perfectly centered on a black background. And again, you would just cut the black square. Just going to group my words with my banner. So I would cut my black square out of vinyl, and then I would layer my red vinyl on top of that. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions or anything else you'd like me to show you how to design, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see if I can help you out. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.